Thank you, Madam President. Madam President, the Senate will be voting tomorrow on the nomination of Tommy Beaudreau to serve as the Deputy Secretary of the Interior. If confirmed, he will play a critical role in managing our nation's public lands, our natural resources, our national parks, our wildlife areas, and the outer continental shelf. He will oversee the management of the largest water supply in the West. And he will also oversee our nation's trust responsibilities to American Indian tribes and Alaska Natives. He will be responsible for the multiple uses of our public lands. One of the most important roles that he will fulfill is overseeing the development of traditional and renewable energy supplies on public lands and waters. Now, energy production on public lands is the engine of Wyoming's economy. It creates good-paying jobs. It provides tremendous revenue for the state, and we use the essential services of the state funded by this, like public education. Mr. Beaudreau has extensive experience at the Department of Interior. He served in a leadership position during the Obama administration. As an attorney in the private sector, he regularly handled matters relating to the department. He's an expert in his field. His qualifications are clear. It's also clear from his nomination hearing that he understands America's needs for an all-of-the-above energy strategy. That strategy must include coal, oil, natural gas, nuclear power, and renewables. I appreciated his commitment to working with members of the Energy and Natural Resources Committee. The department needs to listen and collaborate with the people of Wyoming and the West. These are the states that rely heavily on energy production on our public lands. We are the states that power America. And we're the ones that will be hit the hardest by President Biden's punishing executive orders. This administration has unleashed a barrage of executive actions that threaten to destroy the livelihoods of oil, natural gas, and coal workers in the West. It's critical that Mr. Beaudreau keep those Americans at the forefront of his mind as he works at the department. Now, he can serve as a voice of reason in an administration that is waging a war on American energy workers. My goal is to hold Mr. Beaudreau and the Biden administration accountable to the commitments that Mr. Beaudreau has made to our committee, and I will support his nomination. Madam President, on another topic, I come to the floor today in support of America's police officers. Every weekend I go home to Wyoming. Every weekend people ask me about three issues: the President's attacks on American energy, the crisis at our southern border, and the Democrats defunding the police. People see the headlines. They see the images on the news. They've heard about looting and rioting and the violence in Democrat-run cities. They are deeply concerned. Last year, 63 of America's 66 largest cities saw increases in one or more categories of violent crimes. On average, homicides are up by 1/3 in just 1 year. Since President Biden took office, these increases have continued in Democrat-run cities. In the first 3 months of this year, homicides went up in Washington, D.C., Oakland, California, Philadelphia, Chicago, and Baltimore, just to name a few. It's no wonder that the American people tell pollsters that they feel less safe today than they did 1 year ago. The Democrat crime surge is especially shocking because it is a reversal of a long-term trend. For a quarter of a century, crime in America had been going down. The violent crime rate was cut in half. The murder rate was also cut in half. It was a historic bipartisan accomplishment. Then in 2014, Democrats began their war on law enforcement officers. After Michael Brown was killed in Ferguson, Missouri, Democrats started attacking police. Crime suddenly went up in Democrat cities. In the final 2 years of the Obama-Biden administration, the murder rate went up by 1/5. Violent crime overall went up by nearly 7%. Then Republicans took back the White House and the Congress. We stopped the war on law enforcement, and crime went down again. Last year, Democrats began a repeat of 2014. This time, it was on a much larger scale. Democrats began attacking police again. Crime went up again in Democrat-run cities. America's cities saw the largest increase in murder on record. My Democrat colleagues might say it's a coincidence, yet there is a very clear chain of events. Democrats attacked police. They cut police funding. The number of police officers went down. Crime went up. We had a chance to fix the problem in law enforcement. Senator Tim Scott introduced a police reform bill, which I strongly support, yet the Democrats blocked it. Time and again, Democrats put criminals ahead of police and law-abiding citizens. Innocent people continue to pay the price. Democrats spend trillions and trillions of our tax dollars, yet they cut funding to police, to law enforcement. Last year alone, Democrats cut more than $1 billion worth of police funding. This includes cutting funding in cities where violent crime went up. Police have been retiring or quitting in historic numbers. Fewer police officers means more crime, more destruction, and more fear in our cities. The American people deserve better. The American people deserve safety and a peace of mind. It's time for the Democrats to stop attacking the police. It's time for the Democrats to stop wasting taxpayer dollars on liberal spending. It's time for Democrats to start paying attention to public safety. I say to my Democrat colleagues, the vast majority of police officers in this country are heroes. They put their lives on the line for us every day. It is time to treat them with respect. When Democrats wage their war on the men and women who dedicate their lives to law enforcement, only criminals win. The rest of our nation loses. Thank you, Madam President. I yield the floor.